A generic, mass-produced pill costs about 2 cents to manufacture, but a microscopic error shifts the liability from pennies to millions. If one specific person in a lab coat looks at that pill wrong, it could cost a company $50 million. It could halt an entire production line, shutter a factory, and even land an executive in prison. In the pharmaceutical industry and across the corporate world, you hear two terms thrown around constantly to prevent this: quality assurance and quality control, QA and QC. Most professionals use them interchangeably. They assume that if it went to QA, then QC is checking it, and it's all part of the same process. Mix these up in a meeting, and it's an instant red flag, because they are highly distinct concepts. Confusing them is like confusing the executive chef who designed a recipe with the health inspector who tastes the soup before it leaves the kitchen. Misunderstanding these roles means misunderstanding a company's core defense strategy, the necessary friction between prevention and detection. If a software developer writes a bad line of code, an app crashes. It's annoying, but rarely fatal. If a pharmaceutical manufacturer makes a mistake, the stakes are entirely different. Imagine a batch of blood pressure medication accidentally getting double dosed with its active ingredient on a massive scale. That becomes an immediate matter of life and death. To ensure that never happens, manufacturers build a massive defensive framework known as a quality management system, or QMS. Think of the QMS as the overarching umbrella. Holding up one side of it is our first pillar, quality assurance. QA is purely proactive. Its sole focus is figuring out how to make sure a mistake never happens in the first place, long before manufacturing even begins. Holding up the other side is its rival sibling, quality control. QC is strictly reactive. It looks at the finished product, then asks, did we actually make this correctly? They are two highly distinct phases of a single defense mechanism. QA is your marathon training schedule, your diet, and making sure your shoes fit so you don't get hurt. QC is the drug test at the finish line to make sure you didn't cheat. When you walk onto a factory floor and meet a QA manager, you aren't going to see them holding test tubes. Their role is intensely managerial and organizational. They design the exact blueprint for how the medicine should be made, without ever touching the medicine itself. That blueprint is built out of hundreds of standard operating procedures, or SOPs, generating an immense volume of physical documentation. These documents dictate everything. QA writes the strict rules for exactly how clean a room needs to be, and they oversee the training to ensure the technicians actually know how to run the equipment. Then comes the auditing. If a technician logs their cleanroom entry at 8:02 a.m., but doesn't initial the secondary sanitization log until 8:05 a.m., QA is going to hunt down those 3 missing minutes. They need to know exactly what was happening. This level of scrutiny builds to the golden rule of the pharmaceutical industry. If it isn't documented, it didn't happen. The ultimate objective is an infallible paper trail. Without those rigid blueprints, mass manufacturing is incredibly vulnerable. When humans manually process materials, the risk for error compounds rapidly. Modern QA eliminates that human vulnerability by enforcing universally identical variables. The water pressure, the temperature, and the ingredients must match the SOP precisely, everywhere on Earth. This means a factory operating in the middle of Manhattan and a facility working thousands of miles away in Tokyo will yield the exact same flawless vaccine, despite completely different physical environments. That massive binder of procedures functions as a preventative architecture, guaranteeing systemic safety before a single machine is ever turned on. You can design a flawless manufacturing process on paper, but mechanical entropy and human error will always exist. Machines wear down. A technician makes a slight miscalculation. Despite a perfect quality assurance framework, things go wrong. That is where quality control enters the picture. They are the frontline defense. The scientists in the lab coats actually putting their hands on the final product to see what the machines produced. While the QA team sits in a conference room reviewing guidelines and auditing compliance reports, QC is out in the lab running physical experiments. They don't evaluate the paperwork, they evaluate the actual pill. Systems are pristine in theory, but manufacturing happens in a messy reality. You have to have a physical intervention force to bridge that gap. This animated diagram maps out how rigorous that intervention is. A single sample is isolated from a massive batch and routed through a destructive testing matrix. First is chemical identity. QC analyze a molecular makeup to confirm the formula is exact. They have to prove they are holding a precise dose of medicine, not an accidental capsule of sugar. Next is purity. They scan for hazardous external contaminants, making sure absolutely no metal shavings, dust, or microscopic bacteria made it into the vial. Finally, dissolution. The product is exposed to physical environmental stressors to see if it behaves correctly, like timing exactly how long it takes a pill to break down in simulated stomach acid. These three strict parameters form an objective, impassable barrier. Everything on one side is the factory floor, everything on the other is the consumer. If a sample fails even a fraction of one of those tests, QC pulls the big red lever. The entire batch is immediately quarantined. Millions of dollars of product are halted and sent straight to the incinerator. Nobody takes a single pill until the QC department explicitly signs off. This highlights the dividing line between the two departments. Quality assurance builds the creation machine. Quality control audits the machine's final output. QA focuses entirely on the prevention of errors. QC focuses entirely on the interception of errors before they can reach a patient. Looking at that dynamic, you might assume these two departments operate in isolated silos, or that QC is simply there to police QA's mistakes. But this animated diagram illustrates their true relationship. They form a continuous, symbiotic feedback loop. Physical products flow downstream to QC, and testing data flows upstream directly back to QA. This specific loop of information is the hidden engine driving continuous improvement in modern manufacturing. Let's trace a real-world scenario. QC is stress testing a new batch of allergy pills, and they notice the capsules are crumbling too easily under slight pressure. The batch fails. They reject the product, but they don't stop there. QC logs the exact physical failure metrics and transmits that data straight back to the QA architects. QA takes that data and works backward through the production line. They investigate the process step by step until they locate the anomaly. A specific mixing machine was running 5 degrees too hot. Now the resolution phase begins. QA permanently patches the system. They update the standard operating procedure, or SOP, and retrain the floor staff so that temperature spike is engineered out of the routine. QC acts as the alarm that finds the fire. QA rewrites the safety codes so that specific fire can never spark again. To keep them straight for the rest of your career, remember this rule. Quality assurance guarantees your methodology is correct. Quality control guarantees your resulting output matches the expectation. As this graphic lays out, the entire complex relationship boils down to two words. QA is the process. QC is the product. Internalizing this exact distinction elevates your ability to apply true system-level thinking to any problem. Whether you're managing the software rollout, auditing a factory line, or building protocols in healthcare, you need both the theoretical architect and the physical auditor to succeed. So, where do you fit in? Are you naturally drawn toward designing the theoretical process, or do you prefer the hands-on physical validation of the final product? Drop a comment below and let me know. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit subscribe for more insights into the frameworks driving business and science, because grasping the difference between the process and the product is how you keep global industry running safely. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.